What is up, y'all? So this will probably be only a part two. They're talking, and let's start over. We are watching the interview with Ken McEvoy from Aquatic Sports Performance. We will, put their link in the caption. We'll put the video down below so you can watch it yourself. Last time we did this, it was last week, and it's very swim talky. So, and it's like Cam can only give away so much. He still has to beat people. He's not about to give away his secrets. So we'll see if it's any different. I think it's probably just going to be the second video we do, and then that'll be it. But yeah, let's get it going. Let's get this popping. Oh, I think I need to switch something. Yeah, sorry guys. Give me 1 second. Internet window. I don't know where this came from. What video is this? Okay. Oh, that was interesting. All right, guys, let's dive in.
Because they're so much fresher, because the aerobic load is lower, etc. Like the intensities are higher, which means that's another. It's like going up weight in the gym. Yeah. That's another stimulus. And so taper stops being the freshening up of qualities, and it's just a retraining in another domain, which it takes a couple of weeks to then.
Okay, so last week, this is where we left off. So he was talking about how you do all this training and then you start resting, and basically you've never swam like this slow, done this little. So your body is it's basically adapting to a new stimulus, right? And that's kind of the purpose. Is the new stimulus is allowing the body to rest and recover while you're trying to manage not resting too much, not losing your weight room gains too much. But he's also saying that it's almost counterproductive, because why are you doing that? Why are you introducing a new stimulus going into your training, even though it has a purpose? And obviously it works within swimming, but that's what he's talking about.
Adapt to a new training stimulus, and that's why people.
Oh, it's also, I remember what I was going to say. It's called the taper blues. It's where you kind of just lose yourself, and then when you start doing some pace work and your body gets recovered, you get that snap and that pop again. It almost feels like a new body because you haven't done anything fast, and then you've had this new stimulus, and now you're fresh. And that's the one thing I like about taper is the new stimulus and that weird taper blues where you're swimming in basically a new body, right? You're doing nothing you've done the whole season because you're resting, right? You're taking it easy. When you try to go fast, you end up with this newfound speed and this new body that is just adapted to this new stimulus, and then your confidence goes up and you feel rested, right? Your body's no longer fighting to adapt to this new stimulus. It's adapted to it. It's used to swimming slow, right, during taper, and you haven't lost your adaptation to push yourself in practice yet. So that's what I love about taper. I love the psychological boost.
In a week and a half, 2 weeks, kind of feel shit, feel really bad, but then kind of come through in the end. Because,
like I said, taper blues.
It's not taper. It's just a new type of training.
Right. That's a great point that I didn't think about. All of a sudden, you have all this fresh energy that you have to channel through your technique that you weren't. Maybe before you had to lean on something to bring that power out, but now it just kind of happens for you because neurally you're fresher, so it just happens, and you have to figure out how do I work that into my technique, right?
Well, and it makes it easy to overdo it. Pull-ups are another great example. You could be under fatigue, you just do your regular pull-ups, chin goes to bar. When you're super fresh, maybe you're pulling up to your chest, but you don't need to go to your chest. And so similarly in the water, every stroke you do only needs to be to the chin, but maybe you're going up to your chest, which is not necessary. And that extra gap doesn't make you faster. It's just an added expenditure of.
Something that's interesting about what he's saying is this is where swimmers with great technique, I don't know if thrive is the right word, but I don't know what I'm trying to say as far as an actual define. I'm just going to talk through it. So you have Nathan Adrian, right? And actually we talked about this on the Night Swim podcast with Elvis, he'd swim fast. He'd be 19 mid the whole year, right? And because he knows how to swim through the water, so his body is interacting with the water the correct way the whole time, right? Through technique. Whereas when you rest, and this is where he's saying now all of a sudden your normal effort pull up, you're to your chest. When you rest, you're making more power. So now you're able to use force to get your body into the right place. So someone like me, right? Where my technique was not helping me swim faster, but when I'd rest, because I have more power and more, I'd say power is a great example, right? I'm able to create more lift and get my body staying on the surface, right? Nathan can use technique to get on the surface when he's in the middle of his season, he's tired. I have to be rested and have power to get on the surface, right? And this is where someone like Nathan is elite because he is actually swimming on the surface through technique. So when he rests, now he's just going faster on the surface.
Of effort that kind of goes nowhere.
Yeah.
And then that would have downstream effects to fatigue you quicker and all that type of stuff as well. And yeah.
That's a great point. That's a great analogy to kind of put things into perspective. Yeah, I didn't think of it like that.
I like it for fly, obviously, because it's like double arm, like a pull-up thing. And if you overwork and fly, like it's not going to make you faster. There's a weird level that you have to kind of sit within. So every time I take it for fly, it's really hard navigating that.
Speaking of fly, are we going to see a Cam McEvoy 50 butterfly?
I mean, I've been doing it over the last few years. I'll have it in the program. It's after the 53. Tap into the right technique as well, at least in terms of coordination, in terms of its range of motion, etc. So, yeah, it's a loaded question. It's something that as a field we definitely still have to develop. In my own experience, when I started back in October 2022, I didn't have a 50 freestyle technique. I had my first few 50 freestyles was basically just a sped up 200 freestyle stroke. Me and Tim still laugh at it, right? Like these days now when we look back at it, but I had to spend time developing what that may have been, and Tim was really good in terms of offering some like initial cues to open up the stroke and give me a little bit of guidance in terms of going forward, and then I had to fill in the gaps in terms of what I thought felt strong in the water and felt good in the water, and kind of lean into that. And for me at that time, like I was doing 5 swim sessions a week, pretty much most of the Fukuoka block, because particularly at the start, I didn't have just a 50 in mind. I was
Fukuoka, I think that's what he said. That's the World Championships that they went to back then. I think it was 2023 World Champs.
The N100, and then it wasn't until the March of that year that I decided to go all in on the 50. And so it probably took me until May 2023 to get to a point where the technique was like, right, this is now in the ballpark of where I want to kind of sit within. And so that was October 2022 to May 2023 of just constant technical development. Every time I was in the water, I wouldn't push off the wall unless I was like pre-set up to then practice this particular like
technique,
activation in the body and technique. Similar to like you get into a squat, you put your arms in a certain spot, you brace, you externally rotate your hips or whatever you need to do. I'd do that every rep on the wall. So I'd be sitting on the wall for like 30 seconds, head in the water, like doing this weird arm movement until I got this certain like activation. And then I'd push off the wall, not even in streamline. I'd be like out here just so I could hold it, because if I went streamline, I'd lose that connection. And then just like start like swimming when I can. And then over time, maybe I could hold that feeling for half a rep, and then I could hold it through a full rep. And then I could go into streamline and hold it, and then I could maybe do 5 reps. And it was like...
So this is something that we do in our Rakeley stuff, actually. So the beginning steps of all of our drill progressions are meant to teach you kind of what he's saying, like get that feeling, right? And that activation of those muscle groups. So with him, he swims under his chin, like super high in the water. And what that allows him to do is get to his pectoral muscles. So when you push off, literally all you need to do is just, bend his back and keep his hands in front of his chest. It's like when you get that feeling and then you just add a piece and then you add a piece. And when you add pieces, you make sure you don't disrupt other things, right? So like in freestyle, you have your 6 o'clock position where your hands forward, arms at the bottom, right? At the bottom of the pool. And then you rotate through the back end. So when you add that, we're making sure we don't lose the first thing, like Cam said, as we add on the kick and the twisting and the 6 o'clock, right? So, yeah, shout out. That's pretty cool.
Find that feeling of activation that I wanted, and then just slowly, progressively overload that through exposure over time. So it's a tough question.
Yeah. So you're searching for that feeling that, right, is the 50 free technique for you. What are like the anchor points that you're thinking about to hit that 50 free technique? Like, is it I'm trying to lean on my lungs, I'm trying to leverage my hands? Like, what are your cues that you tell yourself?
So I've got a few cues. The first one to get the core or the trunk involved, which is the anchor point for all of your limbs, is effectively a hollow body, hollow body hold in gymnastics. Virtually, if you go on your back and you do a hollow body hold, that activation, that feeling of your core strength activating, your lats engaged, etc. That's my first point, and that's what I started doing in terms of I'd be in the water. I'd get into a like when you do the hollow body, you lay on your back and you bend your knees up, so a regressed version, and then you lift your tailbone off the ground. I would do that in the water, so I would float. I'd have a pull buoy in, and then I'd be sculling down, and then I'd basically copy that same movement.
Got it.
And then slowly extend my legs out until just the point where I could just hold on to it, and then try and swim for as long as I can.
Yeah.
So that's the base level. And then on top of that, the upper body thing. Basically what I've come down to is there's this mobility movement where you put your thumbs into your armpits, like right into them. You lift up as high as you can. And then, so this is just shoulder movement. And then I can go a little bit more through lifting up from, I guess, the ribs and elevating the scaps. So that's just shoulder and then scaps. And then like I expand out my ribs like that. And then I'll just let go of one arm. This feeling, I'll hold and then extend up. And that whole activation through here and that stretch position is what I want to hit every time I'm at full extension on both sides. And so like a lot of the time I would spend before I push off, I'd like have my head in the water, I'd do that movement and then find that feeling and then push off. Like,
I think something that's interesting to think about like this is it sounds like he's discovering this. Obviously, it's 22. We're going to say just now, right? But in 2022, and to a degree, some of this stuff is, I'm not going to say basic, but it's like, this is classic open up your lat. You know, maybe I was just in a privileged position to learn from really good coaches. It's just an interesting little side note.
Literally hands apart and then just try and hold that feeling for as many strokes as I could.
Wait, you said flare the ribs? Did you say flare the ribs?
Yeah, so
which way?
Ribs are down right now.
Yeah.
And when I go here, it's basically a big breath in and flare them out. But when you're doing freestyle, it's only one of them. So the rib kind of goes, like it kind of bends out that way.
That way.
Like a bracket.
Okay.
And so a lot of my, like I have rotation like this.
Right.
But a lot of my, like this. Like, yeah, that's right. A lot of my focus is basically that type of rotation.
Right.
Like this type of rotation.
Twisting. I'm telling y'all, it's not a rotation, right? So he's talking about what he went like this, I think. Now, if you put that flat, it's here. Right now, if you have a good posture, it's here. We outside, guys. You know what we're talking about. Shout out to David Marsh.
And then this rotation is kind of like an afterthought, like a byproduct of what I'm trying to do there. And so they're the two main anchor points, like
the cue,
that feeling at the front of my stroke,
the stretch,
and then the ability to hold that hollow body kind of activation while the limbs are going manic around it, pretty much.
That's cool. Yeah, I think you said you watched our video on the How to Design a Dryland Training Program. One of our main principles for core training, because core training is always so arbitrary, especially in the swim world. It's like,
Yeah.
go do some sit-ups, 3x20. It's like, what are we trying to progress towards? And I always kind of struggled with that as a coach, because it's like, okay, what are we trying to build? So I use the full standing ab wheel and the L-sit, or not the L-sit, well, we use the L-sit too, but the front lever kind of as my gold standard. And I know, like, not everybody's going to get there, right? Like, your 12-year-old is not going to do it, but at least I have a progression pathway that I can take them
100%.
through. And so, like, that full standing ab wheel, like, in order to do the ab wheel, you have to be in that hollow body position, but also you have to be able to apply pressure downwards onto the ab wheel, which is kind of the same pressure that you're applying onto the water in freestyle, and the same for front.
Okay, so that's what I was gonna say. So I mean, I'm sure he's a professional, so I'm sure he has something. But oh God, I'm about to give you all some insider trading. Your freestyle, everything's a push pull, right? As a human animal, we push, right, or we're pulling into the body. Freestyle specifically, or what we're talking about, and this goes for distance per stroke, early vertical forearm, where this part of the arm should be pushing away. All right, and what makes the water be pushed back is the shape of it, not necessarily what you're doing with it. So it's always involved in the chest, but it should be a push, so you're going away from the body, and then a pull into the body. So your dry land should be centered. And this is with assuming you're using your muscles correct, right? So make sure you get the Rakeley technique solution so you can make sure you're using the muscles correctly. But it should be overhead, like maybe under, just in front of the body line, pushes away with a good posture. Make sure you're protecting your shoulder. A deep pull, and then even a deep pull, and you have like, let's say like a band or something, and you're twisting. And it's okay if it goes wide, because we're just trying to work on the isometric hold, but twisting through the core, right? So I'm here and I'm twisting through. I don't know if you can see my knees, right? But my body isn't turning this way, right? It's all core rotation. So, like I said, Rakeley is the future of the sport. We know what we're doing. But the thing is, I think the reason why he probably doesn't know that, and I'm just guessing, I don't know anything, I've not watched any of his workout stuff, is the technique side. If you don't have the technique side that Cam has, you don't know what muscle systems you need to then apply to the weight room, right?
Too, it's like the position's a little bit different. You're not out here, you're more kind of at chest level. But you still need a shit ton of lat strength, isometric lat strength, to be able to hold.
I just said isometric.
While keeping your core engaged.
Yeah, it's like, the front lever is kind of like that middle part of the stroke. The ab wheel as well is like, once you're fully extended, because I can't, the way I want to do it, I can't do a full standing ab wheel without a band right now.
Really? No way.
Because there's two, like, when you're out in the end position, just to get the ab wheel movement done, then the best spot is to like lock your lats down and be very closed in.
Oh, but you want to be here.
I'm trying to open up, which again, I don't want to push it, because that's the gap between that and an injury is much shorter than when you lock your lats down. So I've been slow in progressing that. But also I want to have that core connection, but then strengthen the elevation and kind of that.
I just want to point out that we've said a lot of things in the last video and this video that they then will say, and I have not watched this video. I don't have any, like I said, some of y'all will know this. I do this for y'all. I hate watching swim media. It's just, to me, it's a waste of time. I'd rather just watch videos and break down technique and learn things and test it in the water and figure out ways to go faster. Like actively doing it than just watching and assuming it and thinking it's going to work, because you always got to test it. Scientific method, you learn that in school. But and actually, I'll show you something cool too that Cam just said about my product. But yeah, we've said a lot of things and then they confirm it. So we know what we're doing, guys. We know what we're doing out here.
Overhead connection I want in the water in that movement, which you could also argue it's not that necessary, because where do you draw the line between needing to be swim specific
it's a
to the
general
gym
quality
and
of
to go to the
training.
water?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so that it's very arbitrary in that sense.
Yeah. You know what's a good regression you can use to train like that elevated shoulder position is like put the ab wheel kind of close to a wall and then get yourself in that elevated shoulder position and then just decrease the range of motion by adjusting your distance from the wall and then you're shrugging and then you just tap the wall and then come back. Tap the wall and then come back. And then once you're good at that, back up a little bit and then go a little bit further and then back, you know?
Yeah.
That might be a good progression.
I'll give that one.
So yeah, guys, this part was much better. Oh geez, that part was much better than the first one, where they were kind of talking about nothing, in my opinion, until the end of it. But I'll put Aquatic Sport Performance. Like I said, his the link will be not the link. He'll be added in the title, and then I'll have in the description the link to his video and to his page. Shout out to them. Shout out to Cam. Oh yeah, I do want to show you something cool real quick before I get up out of here. So I asked Cam what he thought about, because like I said, we figured out a lot of things on our own about the freestyle, right? And it was around actually 2022, actually. And then all of a sudden we see Cam's videos and he's doing the same stuff, but in a dry land strength training way that we're doing in the water. So it's kind of cool. So this is what he said. I'm just going to show this one piece. I'm not trying to show too much because, you know, it is a private conversation and, you know, I'm not trying to, you know, throw what he wants to be known. But, okay, so this is I sent him my stuff, right? And he said, finally, look, I really like it. It's presented in a way I haven't thought of before. A few times I found myself thinking, oh, yeah, it is, or, oh, yeah, it kind of is like that, isn't it? I rate it as a starter for getting people exposed to at least. And what do you mean by starter? Because he said this in the next message. It's like, so you have like your good swimmers, right? And it's like good to like introduce them to how to do the stuff that he's doing, right? It's like a step one to getting to more advanced freestyle. It's step one to more advanced freestyle, specifically sprinting, or I would like to say swimming with more power. Sorry guys, I just mumbled my way through that. But shout out to Cam. Thank you for that. I'm going to ask him what he would consider like the more advanced steps, and I have a feeling it's probably the training side of it. But yeah, like I said, my technique solution is just teaching you how to use your joints and to get to those muscles so you can apply your actual strength to your swimming. But anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out. Make sure you hit that noti bell so you're notified whenever we drop a video. We do it 3 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:30 a.m. Central. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe so you can boost us in the algorithm and we can get these breakdowns, these analysis, and this good information to the people that need it. It costs nothing to hit that like and that subscribe, and it means everything to me, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I'll catch y'all later. Peace.